Live from the WPX Sports Radio, Friday Sports Hour is now on the air. DJ Doug and DJ Nemo are coming up next. Welcome to Friday Sports Hour. Hopefully not the last one of 2020, but here we go. Oh, couldn't get the headphone to work. There we go. Excellent. DJ Doug with you along with DJ Nemo. Thank you so much for listening to the Christmas hour here. Hope you enjoyed that, but we have other things to get into, better things to get into. We have sports to get into, Owen. You're listening to WPX 91.5 FM HD1 Marquette. Starting off here, WCHA News is the first. There's a first game tonight. It's an exhibition. It's an exhibition game, and it won't count in the WCHA, but it is a WCHA game for Bowling Green. They are playing Adrian tonight, so that's going to be a good game. It's going to be on Flow Hockey. I'm glad I got Flow Hockey in March when it was $12 off.
Yep. Good timing.
Yeah.
Especially in March when the quarantine started. But I mentioned before, I was looking at Adrian's roster, and they don't have like a horrible team. I mean, yeah, they're a D3 team, but they had a player who used to play for Fairbanks, and they have a player who used to play for Michigan Tech. So they got guys who have experience like playing against teams like Bowling Green. I mean, it's just exhibition games, so it doesn't really mean much. But this is the first. This is like the first WCHA time a WCHA team has played since that weekend back in March.
Yeah. Actually, I think the last game of the NCAA season, I was watching the Zoom call between the commissioner and the media day. I was trying to get into that, but did not get a spot. But the last game of the NCAA season was Lake State and...
Yeah, on the Sunday game.
Yeah, on the Sunday game between Lake State and Minnesota State. Kind of interesting that was the last.
Yeah, I wish
that was the last NCAA hockey game.
Yeah, that it should have been the it should have been the NMU Tech 3 overtime game, but that was unfortunately the day before. Like, I would have loved that. I mean, yeah, it's hard to believe how quickly things went downhill after that game. But
yeah, and I was gonna ask Grant. I think I said it last week, but I'm not sure. Looking back at that loss. Do you feel better about the loss that you never, you didn't know was going to happen? Yeah, sure, you lost a Tech, but, their season ended.
That was the last game of the season for Tech as well.
Last game of the, right, that was the last season of the game, or last game of the season for Tech. But, just a funny question, do you feel better about the loss that Tech's season ended in a Holiday gas station parking lot?
Yeah. I don't know if that would have been the best question to ask.
I don't know either. It's hard to figure out his humor.
Mm-hmm. And he's a pretty serious guy, it seems, most of the time. But that's a good thing, because he takes his job seriously. He can be funnier. He can be funny at times. But.
Yeah. It's just, yeah, I don't know. But, anyway, getting into it, I'm excited for tonight's WCHA game against Bowling Green and Adrian. Also next week, or in 2 weeks, Northern Michigan and Lake State will be playing their first game here at the Berry.
Yeah, I'd love to hopefully get in for that game, but don't think it will happen, unfortunately. Like, it's looking more and more like fans won't be allowed, considering everything going on. I would not be surprised if they make that decision soon.
Yeah, talking to Dave and how everything's going to go, his press pass only goes week to week. so I'm assuming I would not get a press pass, which is sad. But good thing I have Flow Hockey, and you know, and we have time to figure, and they have time to figure it out for the break here that's going to be happening in a week. I just love to be at a game.
I would too.
The only thing I need right now.
I think we all want to be at a game right now. But hopefully this is the only year, only couple months even, where we won't be able to go to games. I mean,
and in my mindset, I'm okay with that because I know it's break and I have Flow Hockey. But being on campus when there's games and not being at them is really gonna mess me up in my head.
Luckily, like, the first game is the day after the semester ends, so it will technically be on breaks. It's not like if it was a night like, say, 2 weeks ago or even like 3 weeks ago, we were more in mid-semester.
Oh right, yeah. Then I would be really upset.
Yeah, probably just go stand outside the stadium and just look in the window. That like window in the front of the Berry where like they still have the picture of Ate.
Oh yeah, that's never gonna change.
Yeah.
I hope it doesn't.
The pictures they have like that inside the dome, they still have like old football players that haven't played here in quite some time. I don't know the exact names, but they still have the picture of Ate that they use to represent hockey.
And what an iconic way to do it.
Yeah, why not?
Either Ate or with Phil. And I would not be opposed to changing Ate to Phil.
Or like a historically good player like Dallas Drake or someone like
Dallas
that.
Drake, the guy who scored the 91 championship.
Plendowski.
Yep, Plendowski. Daryl would not be opposed to putting him as well. But I think
definitely would be iconic.
I think we do still need to retire 41.
Yeah, I think that's our common theme is retire 41.
Yeah. But you know, we haven't really talked much. We just talked about how excited we are. But what are you most excited to see from the Cats this year on the ice?
And I've mentioned Noah Gansky many times. He'll be he's the player I've obviously been excited to see for quite some time. But I mean, really, he's just excited to see them play again because we know the last time they played was that heartbreaking loss to Tech. And just see everything bounce back. It'll be fun to see if Nolan Kent can keep up his form in net that he was like mid-season, where he was like unstoppable. Or see if Griffin Loughran and Vincent DeMay can keep up their scoring ways that they were like pretty much all of last season. See if most of the freshmen can step in and pick up the slack. I mean, really, there's a lot. There's a lot of new stuff to see, and I really wish it could be in person.
Right, and we won't get in. Grant confirmed we won't see Hawthorne for a while due to his off-season surgery that happened. That's all the only thing he mentioned. But I think what I'm most excited for is just to get hockey back.
Yeah.
And
I mean, the
to
NHL
see
will be back eventually. But.
And to see all of Grant's team now.
Yeah.
And I asked him, I think the question was, talk about being here long enough at Northern. That now this is your team.
This is
now.
his team.
This is all. This is all of his recruits. This is everyone that he has. This is his team. So, there was only 3 guys that weren't his team last year.
Craighead, Ballou, and Fulton.
Yeah.
Now all of these people left. They've only played here under. He's the only coach they've known.
And it's and also I don't know if you were able to listen in or not, but when I asked him about the captain's question,
I was able to listen to the whole thing. It was just I was cutting out when
I thought it was interesting to hear that he never picks the captains.
No, it's the teams that do.
It's the team. He said that it's their locker room. He feels that they should pick the captains, and
that's how it should.
They just so happen. And he said that he does not like to have he doesn't like to have 3 guys as the captain. But he says, if we have to, we have to. But it's just amazing of how there's no one younger wearing the A.
Yeah,
it's all seniors. So this is different. This is interesting to see.
I mean, it would make sense for them to pick the seniors if it's the players, unless there's like a really good junior or a really good.
And I know you've been mentioning Ty a lot, so
yeah, I don't know. I feel like that was just some of the people we had on last year mentioned Ty. And how they kind of like him. So Ty's like the dark horse captain pick for next year. But I don't think I don't know. Obviously, if it's the player's pick, then whoever the players pick is going to get it. Is going to get the C in 2021 and 22. So
Right.
who knows? We'll see. Because it's the captain usually isn't like the best player on the team. It seems like,
and
not necessarily.
sometimes it is, sometimes it isn't.
Like,
and
look in the NHL. I mean,
and looking at Joe Nardi, he's not the best player, but he is a better player.
like you could say in the NHL, you could say Austin Matthews is probably the best player on the Leafs, but John Tavares, who's also a really good player, but John Tavares is the C. You could say at the end of his career, Steve Yzerman definitely wasn't the best player on the Red Wings, but who else are you going to give
Near the
C?
end of his career, no.
Yeah.
At the beginning of his career, yes.
Well, yeah, at the beginning of his career, obviously, but like, yeah, and like his last years, like 2004, well, that was the lockout year, but that like
Right.
the end of his career, I think his last season was 2005, 2006. Yeah, he was very much the end of his career and wasn't like a game-changing player because they had like that was when they had Datsuk was like in his prime and Zetterberg was in his prime and yeah,
That's when a lot of guys were in their prime.
yeah, pretty much the whole team was in their prime.
Well, that's when they had, let's see. That's when Eriksson was in his prime.
I don't think Eriksson was in the league yet. Eriksson didn't join till like the Stanley Cup winning team.
Or was he 06, 07 when he came in?
I think
that was his next year.
I don't think he was in yet.
But you just talk about that younger Red Wings team back in the early thousands.
Basically, the main thing I mentioned was Datsuk in his prime, Zetterberg in his prime,
Cronwall in his prime.
Cronwall in his prime, right?
Cronwall was there.
I think Chris Osgood might have been on the team still.
Yep,
He was
Chris
old.
is on the team.
Uh,
But Chris was still, for as long as Chris played, he's still in his prime.
I guess you could say. And then I think they didn't have Hasek joined a year later or something. They might have had Hasek at that time because I know Hasek was on. Hasek was on the winning team, but was on at least one cup winning team.
The 0102 team.
Yeah. It's not hard to find out.
Who was the other goaltender?
Manny Legacy. I know,
Legacy,
was
that's
on
who it
that
was.
time. Yeah.
Manny, yeah.
They once had Osgood.
And-
I know they once had Osgood, Legacy, and Hasek all on the same team.
I think that was the early. Was that 99 I think that was the 99 season.
I'm gonna look at Hasek. The Dominator.
And he was a good goaltender.
Oh yeah, he's one of the best.
Along with Marty Brodeur.
Yeah, him and Marty Brodeur both played around the same time.
Yeah, and then.
Oh, he returned. I forgot. So Hasek played for the Red Wings in 2001-02.
And then he
was on that team.
Went to the Sabres.
And then, he went to the Ottawa Senators 2005-06,
was.
but then he returned to the Red Wings in 2006 and 2007. So he was on that second Stanley Cup winning team in 2008. I didn't know that, actually, because I know Chris Osgood was the starter in the clinching game because he made, the great save in, the final seconds of Game 6 to win them the Cup with, 1 second left on the clock. So that's weird. But, yeah, he did return. I didn't realize he had 2 different stints. I guess I just thought he was kind of
Because he went to the Sabres, and then he went to...
I have his career up right here. So his first team was actually the Chicago Blackhawks, who he played for in 1990.
Forgot about that. The Blackhawks, and then...
He played for the Blackhawks in 2 seasons, and he played for the Sabres from 1992 to 2000.
And that's when he had this good career.
Yeah, and then he joined the Red Wings 2001, 2002.
Yep.
And then apparently he didn't play in the 2002-2003 season, and then played for the Red Wings again in 2003-04. And then he played for the...
Because 03 was the lockout.
No, 04-05 was the lockout.
Right.
And he didn't play that season, the lockout season. And then the season after the lockout, on 5-06, which was Yzerman's last season, he played for the Senators. But then he returned to the Red Wings 2006-07 and 07-08, which was the last season of his NHL career. And he finished his career in the KHL.
Well, let's take a look at this 08 Red Wings team because they have Brian.
It's always fun to look at the 08 Red Wings.
Brian Rafalski, Dallas Drake, Brian Lashoff, Johan Franzen, Tomas Holmstrom, Kirk Maltby. That's when they had Draper.
Yep.
Hasek was on the team. Filppula, Lindstrom, Darren Helm when he was good.
Yeah.
When he was the fastest. Cronwall, Eriksson, Zetterberg. Oh, I forgot about Ty Conklin.
I didn't even remember him.
He played for the Gamblers back then, back in the 90s. I wasn't for the I was for the Gamblers before they were, or after they were called the Gamblers before the Bobcats. They had Corey Emerton. Forgot about that. Jakob Kindle. They had Marian Hossa.
Marian Hossa was on the 2008-09 team because he was on the Penguins team that they beat that year. Because Marian Hossa lost the cup in back-to-back years. It's kind of the worst luck for Marian Hossa because he was on the Penguins team that the Red Wings beat in 2008-09.
Then he went to the Blackhawks.
No, and then he went to the Red Wings.
No, after the Red Wings.
After the Red Wings, he went to the Blackhawks. So I'm saying he was on the Penguins team that the Red Wings beat in the 2008 Stanley Cup, and then he left and joined the Red Wings, who then lost to the Penguins in the 2009 Stanley Cup. So it was the same two teams that played each other each year, and Marian Hossa was on the losing team each year, which has got to be some of the worst luck in history. I mean, I feel bad for Marian Hossa, like I have to say, just because of that.
Well, they didn't win a cup, so with the Blackhawks, but we don't talk about that.
No, I mean, still.
Oh, right, yeah, but I mean, worse luck being the Stanley Cup final twice and never win it.
Well, yeah, but to be on the Stanley Cup final with the same two teams playing in back-to-back years, and
that's bad luck.
You switched from the winning team to the losing team, or you switched from the losing team one year to the losing team the next year. Yeah, it's just bad luck.
Do you remember Andreas Nelia?
No.
He wore number 3. He was a big guy.
No, I don't.
He was a tank.
Looking,
Osgood Howard was on the team.
Yeah, Jimmy Howard. That was like his.
That was his debut, I believe.
Yeah, he didn't play much. But.
No. They had Chelios. Brett Lebda. Forgot about him. Let's see. Danny Cleary.
Yeah.
McCarty was on the team.
Darren McCarty was. He did return.
Forgot about that. Matt Ellis. They had Datsuk. Aaron Downey. And then, Brad Stewart. Stewie. Yeah, that was a team. It was a stacked team.
What season are you looking at?
2008.
Are you looking at 2008-09?
2008-09.
Yeah, that was the year they lost to the Penguins.
Right.
Quite a season. So yeah, I think we went down this path. I forgot. Oh yeah, I was mentioning the captains and how the captain isn't always the best player.
On the team. No, he's not. And then
captain on that team was
Nicholas Lidstrom.
It was Lidstrom. It was the first European captain to win, and you could even say Lidstrom was.
But that was when they had that's when they had all the Swedens.
Yeah, well,
I think they had 5 Swedens on the team.
Well,
it was either 5 or 6 Swedes.
Yeah.
But I think that's what made the team really good was all the Sweden players because that was when Sweden was coming in to be really good.
Well, yeah, I mean,
which is funny because you look at the 80s and 90s and oh my gosh, the Russians are good.
Yeah, that was the eras where the Russians were the best players.
And then we get to the early 90s or the later 90s, early thousands, and it's like all these and like the Swedes came out of nowhere.
Forsberg,
yeah.
Mm-hmm. And when all those guys kind of came. So that's very true. I didn't realize that point, how there's kind of like been the waves of European talent. You could say Germany is kind of putting out a few more players nowadays. With they had Tim Stutzel just drafted.
I'd say the Czech.
Czech has had some good players as well.
Oh yeah, Peter Mrazek,
Filip Zadina, Filip Hronek.
Yeah, look at now it's the Czech players coming in.
Yeah.
With outstanding.
Mm-hmm.
Because now we went from just Russians. Everyone, oh my gosh, the Russians are the best. To moving into Europe to Sweden, now going to Czech.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What a curve.
There's a lot of good players from countries who wouldn't expect. Like I know Switzerland's put out quite a few.
Japan's getting good players now.
Japan, also only one Japanese player has played in the history of the NHL.
One of my favorite YouTubers, his name is Coach Jeremy. He does all this different, does all these different
Lake
stuff.
Superior State has a Japanese player.
Yes, they do.
Mm-hmm. Yuki Miura.
I believe he was on the Olympic team.
He might have been. I wouldn't be surprised if he was.
I think he was, but anyway, what Coach Jeremy does is he goes all over to these different countries, and one place he went was Japan, and it was unbelievable of how many rinks he spotted just in one town, and talking to the people over there, it's just it's amazing of how hockey is influenced over there and everything.
Yeah.
Where else has he gone?
So currently, at this point, only one Japanese player has played in the NHL, and that was Yutaka Fukufuji, who was a goalie, and he played in...
What was his height?
He played in only 4 games in the NHL for the Kings, but he still made it. He was 6 foot 198.
Yeah, a 6 foot Asian.
A 6 foot Japanese player, yeah.
Yeah, isn't that crazy?
I mean, he must have been good. He only played 4 games in the NHL, and those 4 games he had a 4.37 goals against average, 8.37 save percentage, so not amazing.
No, but
he made it to the NHL.
Yeah, he made it to the NHL. That's the point I'm getting at. That's cool.
I'd love to see more Japanese players make it.
You know what? They're good skaters.
Oh yeah, because they have a huge speed skating program in Japan, and that's where most of their Olympic athletes come from. So I assume they just transition a lot of those guys to hockey. So those guys are going to be those guys are going to be lightning fast on the ice.
You've seen how the player at Lake Skate, or Lake State, excuse me, Lake State skates. Oh my gosh, I can't speak today. Too excited, but just watching him skate and seeing it up close. Because when we went last year, we sat 2 rows up from the glass.
Yeah.
On the
Oh, you were 2 rows from the glass. That's really all that.
On the Lakers side.
Yeah.
On the Lakers side, right, in line with the press box. But seeing him skate with the other guys, it's different the way that he skates.
Yeah, and I haven't really paid attention up
close. He pushes hard,
and I've only watched him from kind of far off.
Yeah, but when you sit up close and you see how different skating technique it is. He pushes harder in with his skate than everyone else does, and that's why he's fast, which is outstanding. So obviously he must have done something with speed skating, because
I'm assuming that's how he got his. I'm assuming he got his start speed skating, but I'm gonna take a look at his stats, because he last year for Lake State he played in 41 he played in 41 games. He scored 2 goals, 12 assists, so 14 points. I mean, that's decent. I'm assuming he wasn't a first-line player, but
no, I think he was on the 3rd or 4th line.
So he's 24 years old, and he's only going to be he's going into his seniors. This is a senior season.
He must have had a.
So he probably was. He probably didn't
so he didn't
start
play his
late.
freshman year.
Yeah, his freshman year. Yeah, his freshman year he only played in 7 games. And
he must have got hurt then that he was eligible.
He had 1 assist, so he had 1 point. But yeah, he was. Yeah, that's definitely eligible that year, and he played for the Waterloo Blackhawks before in the USHL, so he had experience in America before.
Yeah.
But he's interesting. He's 5'11", 170.
Well,
so he's kind of.
Let's look at Jet Jungles. He's a redshirt freshman, so he'll be playing at least 24.
Yeah, but Jet's younger than I am, so I'm 20.
Oh yeah, he's 19. So
he's I think he's had his birthday. I think he's 20. I'll look up Jet Jungles. It's not hard.
I'll probably.
Jet Jungles is.
Jet Jungles is 20.
Yeah, he's 20.
He was born July 14th, 2000.
Yeah. So yeah, he'll be playing till he's 24.
Yeah. It's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah, it's very crazy.
Well, that's the luck of. Well, I shouldn't say luck, but for being a redshirt freshman, gets a new start. But yeah.
Glad to get to have him for that long, but who knows? Maybe he's good enough to go pro early. We'll see. Because if he was good enough to go straight from high school to college without having to.
And if you guys missed the interview, I asked Grant, is that just not building up toughness from not playing juniors, or is this the freak accident? And Grant said it was just a freak accident, and he was fine. He skated on a torn ACL for the rest of the first period.
Yeah, that's because I didn't realize it, because I didn't realize he was hurt, because I remember I was with you. We were watching that game from the top, from
you
behind the
band?
goalie. No, I was with you that game.
You were?
No, that first game I didn't play with Van.
Where were we standing? Oh yeah, we were standing where we were standing on the corner of where where you used to
Yeah,
stand.
it's where we used to stand. We were standing like right up at that top little deck area.
Yeah, where it says now We Are the Wild.
Yeah, that's where it didn't say that at the time we were there. They were still adding that.
No, it said it.
Did it say it by the first game?
Yep, it said it by the first game.
Yeah, but I remember like when we first watched it, I think I remember Jet Jungles getting. I think I remember him getting hit, but then I remembered like I thought he was hurt because I remember like after the period ended, he went back out on the ice and like skated around for like a few more seconds.
Yeah, but
So I
no, he
remember
finished
him
the
going
first
back out.
period.
Yeah, because he didn't go out. He didn't like show any signs until he went back out at the end of the first period and was kind of skated around. And I'm like, oh, he might be hurt.
And that's
So-
and that was an unfortunate thing that
Yeah,
happened.
it was.
But
Season probably would have been a lot different had he played. Honestly,
You know?
when you think about it.
if
If he had stayed healthy.
he'd stayed healthy, and with Schultz and Vanderbeck coming in, with Vanderbeck getting hurt, what was it? The first 2 weekends or something?
Yeah.
Because he was hurt for majority. Then we lost Tanner Vecchio. So yeah, injuries were definitely a big part of last year, along with taking bad penalties. But as Grant said, he had guys on defense playing forward, and he said you shouldn't have that.
And now
So-
I think he's good. I think the depth is a lot better.
Oh,
He
definitely.
only lost one. He lost a pretty big defenseman in Phil, but he did only lose one defenseman, and he lost.
I think the only reason Phil was a big loss, one, he's a good player.
Well, he's
But-
a good player.
Well,
I think that's all you really need to
I
say.
mean,
It's the captain of the team. Like you lose a player like Phil, it's gonna make an impact.
that's what I was
Can't
gonna
really
say.
gloss over it.
I don't think losing Phil as a player is a big loss.
Losing him as a leader.
Losing him as a leader
Yeah,
is a
that's
big one.
I 100% agree there. I mean, he's a good player, but his skills as a leader may have been even more important.
And I think that's why he got signed by the Iowa Wild, because his
Yeah.
tender leadership.
All three
is-
seniors signed. They're all in at least the ECHL, which is good, and Phil was the only one that signed in the AHL. I don't remember exactly where the other people signed.
Think
It's not hard to find out.
no. I believe Craig. I forget what the other one is.
Craighead and Volton. Craighead signed with the
Craighead-
South Carolina
Yep,
Stingrays.
I was gonna say he went somewhere on the coast.
And then Luke Volton signed with the Reading Royals. So, yeah, all three of the seniors signed at least to the ECHL, and Phil signed in the AHL. So
I think if Craighead, I know Craighead had a big attitude, so I think if his ego comes down just a little bit, he'll definitely have no problem making the AHL. Maybe getting.
Craighead's a good player. I
Oh
think
yeah, he's definitely a good player, but I think it's just a little bit of attitude coming
Well, I
down.
mean, I don't think the attitude thing is necessarily bad. Like he was a big celebrator. Like he had a personality. Like I don't think there's anything bad with that.
No, but
He had the best celebrations. Like obviously that celebration where he planted the flag is
planted the flag, and then was that Mitch that did the?
and Mitch Slattery did the skull clap.
That's what it was.
Yeah.
Because that was after the Vikings got beat or whatever.
No, that was before.
Ah.
That was like they were playing that weekend, I think. But Craighead's celebration where he planted the flag was one of the best. I have to say because that was like if you know.
Well,
college,
that was an iconic one.
Well, if you know college football, it was a reference to Baker Mayfield when he played for Oklahoma, when he planted the Oklahoma flag at the center of Ohio State's field after they beat Ohio State, and that was what his celebration was a reference to. He even shouted out Baker Mayfield on Twitter afterwards. Darian Craighead did, so it was definitely a reference to that.
right.
But Darian Craighead, I mean, his dad played in the NHL.
Yeah.
His dad played I think a few games in the NHL, but he does have a dad who played in the NHL, so I'd say the genetics are in his favor. And Phil, I mean, I think his leadership skills could eventually get him there, and his impact.
His dad played 5 games in the with Toronto Maple Leafs.
Yeah.
He dropped the gloves. He dropped the gloves with Vancouver Canucks. Donald Brashear.
Oh,
It's kind of cool.
yeah, that's a guy who that's an impactful player.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, he made his impact in those 5 games. And he was here for senior day, his dad was.
Yeah,
So
I
got
didn't get
to
a
see
chance to
him.
meet his dad, but
Yeah.
that would have been really cool.
Hmm.
I got
They were
to,
sitting not that far from where I was sitting for that
I
game.
got to meet Ty's dad.
Yeah.
Ty's dad's hilarious. Definitely. I like Kelly. He's pretty cool. Who was else parent that I get to meet? Volton's mother I got to meet
Hmm.
because she was at pretty much every game last year. I don't know if you saw her or not.
No, I didn't. I don't know what she looked like.
She has blonde hair and she was wearing Volton on the jersey.
Well, too.
She was sitting. Where did they sit? I believe they sat on the opposing bench side. You know where Jake Larson sits?
Yeah, was it around there?
Yeah, it's like
Okay.
yeah, I think it's It's the next section over where the glass broke.
Oh yeah, so
It's
around
that
there.
section.
Yeah, I know that general area, but
Oh, that was interesting to see against St. Cloud. Was that glass break?
yeah, that was the craziest game of the year, no question. I don't think anyone could contend with that. You could say maybe the triple overtime game, but I think that game was even crazier than the triple overtime game. Because that game,
Well, that game did go to overtime.
it did go to overtime, but that was like only a 5-minute overtime because it was a non-conference game,
It would have gone to 5-minute overtime for
and then it ended in a
there'd
tie.
be no shootout.
It ended in a tie, so yeah,
Yeah,
that was pretty much how that game went.
that
And-
Saturday game though.
And then the Saturday game was almost identical, but they ended up St. Cloud won the game in overtime, unfortunately.
That Saturday game though, that was wow.
Mm-hmm. Where they did the same thing. 2
I got to
games
sit
in
in
a
the
row.
stands for that one, and that was
Yeah, I did pep band for both those games. I think that was the only series of the year where I did pep band for both games of a series, because usually I only do one in a 2-weekend series.
yeah, because you went with Michaela before.
Yeah.
Because you guys always used to sit. You guys used to sit on the corner there, the stairs to go up to the concession
that's
stand
usually where I would.
on the corner.
That's usually where I tend to sit if I wasn't in pep band, or I would stand on the top deck. But then eventually the cheerleaders kind of took over there, so had to find my own place.
And I feel bad for the cheerleaders because they didn't have really a place to go.
Yeah, they didn't really. So that that place made sense, but yeah,
But you had the best view up there.
yeah. I wish they could have kept the pep band there, but I liked it because we were closer in with the student section.
And to be honest, I think you guys in the stands makes it more echo.
It does. And
Well,
yeah, we can get to do this.
You guys had a
chance
more
for the
echo when
student
you're up
section.
towards the ceiling, though.
Yeah. No, I liked it. I like sitting up there, like for an effect, like a visual effect, but sitting with the student section, it gives
Having the fan aspect, like
Yeah.
being part of it.
yeah, that's what I liked about sitting in the stands.
Because
So-
for football, you guys sit in the stands.
Yeah,
You
we
guys
sit-
have your own little section
We
there.
sit right behind the opposing sideline in football, and we just yell at them to do hair flips.
Didn't they have a sign? What team had signs last year?
I think it was actually 2 years. It might have been last year. I remember one of the
It
teams
was
had
last
signs.
year because the only time I was in the press box was last year.
Okay,
for
so
football.
yeah, it must have been last year because I think it was Davenport.
That's what it was. Yeah, because they had signs with like cheese or like a cow
They had
on
a
it.
sign,
or
I remember they
whatever.
had a sign that had like Bill Belichick.
Yeah,
which is weird.
yeah.
They just have the weirdest symbols of like, and like they'll have like NFL team logos and they'll have like other college team logos. It's weird, but usually they do that in football if there's like a freshman quarterback or like a young quarterback who hasn't like played before, and so they aren't like as comfortable with him like calling the plays. So they'll just show you see it in big time college football too. You'll see it in Division 1. You'll see signs like that. It's really entertaining. But it was fun for us to heckle and band because we were just yelling like whatever the sign said.
But then didn't you guys get a couple players to do the hair flip?
Oh, we always get players to do the hair flip. 'Cause,
That's
I mean,
hilarious.
We got the whole. It's bigger than pep band. It's like more than half the size of pep band for when we have the whole band there for football.
Yeah.
Whenever there's a player with long hair, we'll always yell at them to do a hair flip, and sometimes the other players on the sideline notice and try to point out to that guy. But usually we do get them to do the hair flip.
That's
And
fun.
sometimes because obviously the football team lost most of the games, but it was funny because like when they were losing and like we were still yelling at the other team to do like a hair flip, and then the players on the sideline would like make fun of us like, "Oh, you're losing. Why are you making fun of us like this?" And we're like, "Yeah, we're just here to have fun. We're just here to have fun." And it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I just wish we got a bigger student section for football.
I did too. It was only good when like the hockey players were there and in the student section. Because I know like they
I forgot about that. Oh yeah, because they were all because
were always chanting "Sweet Caroline."
because I pointed out to you, I think it was they all had like brand new white shoes on them. Like
Yeah.
what?
Yeah, that was a fun time.
Yeah.
They were there for like the one game they won last year against McKendree, which was the first game of the year.
And we lost them last year, 2 years before.
Yeah, our first year they lost.
Our
That
first
was at,
our first
they
year.
lost on the road there, and then they beat them at home here.
And then who did we beat last year? Or our
First year, the 2 wins at home were against University of Texas Permian Basin, which was the first game, and then they beat Lawrence Tech, which was a
So it
team
was.
in their first year playing college football, so they weren't that good.
Yeah, because I wasn't there for the first one against Texas.
Mm-hmm.
We lost against Ferris for homecoming.
Yep.
That sucked. And then I was at the second home win.
Against Lawrence Tech.
Against Lawrence
That was
Tech.
band day. I remember.
Yeah, that was band day.
And then there was the game against Michigan Tech where that was an intense game. They ended up losing.
I watched that one on TV.
Yeah, they failed on a 2-point conversion to lose the game, which
That
was
was when we
was
were-
very close.
Because that was the weekend we had Bemidji here for the home opener WCHA.
It was.
Because we had Cornell that last weekend, which was home opener, but it wasn't for WCHA. And then, yeah, that was against Tech. Because didn't Tech and Northern go into overtime?
No, they didn't, but they lost. Northern lost on a failed 2-point conversion with like no time left. It was a very close game.
Yeah.
It was fun.
And then last year we went up to Tech. It was snowing.
Yeah.
I think we won last year.
Last year, no, not against Tech. Because we only won one game last year. That was against McKendree.
Oh yeah. But
But
I know the Tech game was close though. 'cause
It was close. Yeah, it was
we
close.
were down, but then we came back.
Yeah, it was pretty much the same thing. Like it was close, but they ended up just winning at the end. But anyway, I remember the best thing about football last year was that last game against it was one of the best times of the year. It was the last game against Saginaw Valley State. It was the first snow of the year. It was like blizzard weather. Because that was the one year where we didn't march down to the dome. We usually march down to the dome, but we didn't. We just drove there.
Yeah.
And then right after that was the game against St. Cloud State where the glass broke. That was that same day.
Really?
Because we finished the football game, and then we were actually kind of hoping for the football game to end because we were like, we want to have a break in between this and the hockey game.
Oh,
And
I
then-
forgot about the yeah. Now I remember the snow.
And then we went to the hockey game later. Oh, that was actually the day after the glass broke. The glass had broke the night before.
Because the glass broke on Friday.
The glass broke on Friday, and then that game was on Saturday, and then the other good game was that
Because my
Saturday.
ticket was the same section, 2 rows up from the glass.
Yeah.
So, kind of hoping the glass wouldn't have broke, but
That was fine.
yeah.
It's crazy. But yeah, those were some fun games. Fun weekend.
The most fun game that I've been at, let's see. I'd have to say it was the basketball games I had fun at.
Oh, the basketball games are always fun.
Because I got to sit with Derek Maselli from RN because they're having schedule conflicts with being on the road and stuff. But I don't know how it's going to work out this year. But when he's on the road doing volleyball or basketball and say volleyball's home, there's no one to do volleyball.
Yeah.
So I've been the person to step in. So I'd say doing the games there when the women. Let's see, who was it? Oh, it was against Tech.
It wasn't.
Those games against
They lost both the games against Tech. I remember.
Yeah, they lost both games against Tech, but I think the women's game was the one that was closest to Tech.
Yeah, the men's game was a blowout, but the women's game was a bit closer.
Yeah. Who were the games the weekend after? No,
That was the last game. The
before.
Tech games were the last weekend.
The games before, because I did both weekends, but I forgot who they were.
I'll find out. Those games are all a blur to me now, because I remember all of them, but I forget which was which week.
It was the second to last weekend before Tech.
The weekend before Tech or 2 weeks before that?
Would have been. No, it was back-to-back weekends.
Okay, so it was the weekend before Tech.
It was the weekend before Tech. It was here at the Berry.
All right, I got getting the schedule up right now, and we've got it was against Davenport.
Yes.
So yeah, that would make sense. They did win against Davenport in overtime. That was a really fun game because they won that. I remember they won that on like a 3-pointer in overtime that gave them the lead.
Yeah, because I didn't go against I went against Grand Valley, but I didn't sit in the press box for that one. But then the Davenport one is when I got to sit on the air with Derek. And then the next game against Tech is when I got to sit with Derek and with Austin. And that was fun.
It was very fun. Those games were fun.
Because that was when Nathan got a good picture of you in the fan.
Yeah, it's still my Facebook profile picture.
Yeah.
I love that picture. I never actually thanked him for it, but that was a really good picture from him.
Yeah, because Davenport, the men's won 80-74. And then the game they lost to Tech 91-61.
Yep.
But then they won against Ferris to move on to Allendale. And that Ferris and Northern game was only a 1-point game, 70-69.
Yeah.
And then they played Northwood and they lost 64-53. And who would have known that if they would have moved on, would they have played the next weekend, because that was when COVID came in.
Yep. Yeah, it's hard to forget about how COVID interrupted not just the hockey season, but pretty much every season.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was. I mean, I hope I get to see a few basketball games. I mean, it looks like they're scheduled to play, so my guess is they'll have a full season, maybe a bit shortened a few games, but yeah,
it's gonna be a good season. Do you see who they recruited for this year?
Oh no, I actually didn't see a lot of basketball recruits.
Matt Makerzak announced to him. Let me pull it up here.
I'll take a look.
They have a kid from Kimberly. Pretty good. From Kimberly, Wisconsin. Let's see. The signing day. They signed Mike Reed, Dylan Cool, Jackson Dudek. He's the one that's from Kimberly. Sam Privet and Brian Parzak. So that's who they signed.
But they lost some pretty good seniors last year.
Yeah.
So it's going to be tough for them to make up for Sam Taylor and Miles Howard. Really just those two.
Miles Howard had a great season.
Yeah, Miles Howard, one of the best players and just the best people that you'll meet in the sports world here. And I'll never forget that time where he shook hands with that Tech fan that had been heckling him all game. Like, he's the most sportsmanlike player I've ever seen.
Wait, what?
I've told this story before, I think, on here, but there was the last game against Tech last year. There was a Tech fan sitting in the courtside seats who was like heckling the teams all day, and he was like yelling for everything in favor of Tech. And we ended up chanting at him in band. Actually, we started, because he just looked like your typical dad. We actually started chanting in band. We started chanting, "Calm down, Dad. Calm down, Dad." But the best part was at the end. When the team goes around, they shake the hands of everybody.
Right.
Miles Howard shook the hand of that fan that had been heckling,
that's cool.
And they had like a little conversation. So I'm like, yeah, that's the most sportsmanship that
Maybe
I've
he
ever
knew.
seen him. Maybe he did know him. Maybe he sees him in like every game. But yeah, I thought that was one of the best shows of sportsmanship I've seen in my life.
Yeah,
So
I like
love
Miles
that.
Howard. He was pretty cool.
And yeah, Sam Taylor was he was like the leader of the team, pretty much the point guard. And
yeah,
miss him. Yeah, and they still have Delapo Yinka, though. He'll be the main star of the team now. And he's only a redshirt junior, so he'll be here for another year after.
He had a great season last year.
Mm-hmm.
He made up points that I don't think anyone saw coming.
Yeah.
He has a great shot, too.
And then the other guy is... shoot, I forgot his name. Number 50. I'll look up. But the big guy.
Matt, what is his name?
I'll search it. It's not
It's Matt. I think it's Matt. I'm pretty sure.
I don't think it is. It's Ben Wolf.
Ben Wolf, that's who. Yeah.
Yeah. That guy was huge, and it was amazing because he was such a big guy, but he could like hit threes, and like just seeing a guy like that who's able to like shoot well from beyond the arc, I was like, wow.
Is he a senior or is he a junior?
No, I think he was only like a sophomore. I think he's only a junior this year.
So he's a junior this year.
Yeah.
But he's a big guy.
Yeah, he was a huge guy, and it's gonna be fun to see him for a few more years. And like he could hit threes too. He's like Dirk Nowitzki out in here, like a big guy who was able to hit all these threes. Like normally it's either you're a big guy or you can shoot threes, but that guy was both.
Well, when it was against Davenport,
hmm
I gotta pull it back up because I think it was against Davenport. He had like 20 points.
Yeah, he had some good games.
Because I had to do the score sheet for Derek. Let's see, and I think Ben Wolf had over like 20 points. Take a look here. Ben Wolf had. Oh, he only had 6 points. I swear I wrote him down more. Maybe it was against Tech. But I remember he had like a huge game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he only had 11 points in the Tech game. I don't know why I thought he had 20. But he played 24 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Alec Froon.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember him?
Yep.
Noah Parcher. I have him on Snapchat.
Noah Parcher was a good, one of the best freshmen for the team last year.
Yeah, I have him on Snapchat.
Uh-huh.
Xavier Jones.
I think he's transferring, but I'm not 100% sure. I think he's transferring. Don't have confirmation, but I remember looking at the roster and I didn't see him there.
Let's take a look. Well, they changed the. Here we go. Oh, that's women's. We don't want the women's right now.
We'll get to the women's.
Oh yeah, we'll get to the women's because they had an exciting season last year. Yeah, you're right. I do not see. I don't see Jones on here. So he must be transferring.
Yeah, he must be. I mean, he was okay, but didn't feel like he got as much playing time as he probably would have hoped.
Let's see. See if we can look up if he's transferring. Xavier Jones.
Well, there's a lot of Xavier Jones. I think I tried to find out before, but I couldn't find it. So I feel like
Either
if
he's
he's down there-
transferring or he's hurt. But he would still have a.
yeah, he'd be on the roster still if he was hurt.
Yeah.
We'll see. We might find out information. Maybe we'll ask Matt when we talk to him.
We have two redshirt freshmen. Reese Caster and AJ McKinnon.
Yep. AJ McKinnon was the one who played quarterback in high school for Waterford, Muskego High School in Waterford, Wisconsin. And he was a state champion winning quarterback there. Because I remember we talked to Matt Makarczak about that.
Yeah. Should get Makarczak again. That was fun. I like talking to him. He was...
he was a great guy to talk to, and he's a very enthusiastic coach on the sideline.
Let's see. Before the beginning of the semester, we went to Kaza on 3rd Street, and Matt was in there with a family. Mm-hmm. I don't know what the whole deal was or whatever, but yeah, it was cool. I think it was with a basketball player that just came in, took his family to dinner or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was cool to see him there. We actually sat at the table that was right behind him. So
yeah, that was nice.
Yeah.
Except both him and obviously the women's basketball coach Troy Matson.
Troy.
They're both very enthusiastic. Like they're both very enthusiastic compared to like the other coaches that we would see. And that's funny. Troy Matson was like one of the only women's basketball coaches that wasn't a woman. Like almost all the coaches were like all the other head coaches were women, but
yeah, you think they'd have a women head coach?
Like I said, I thought it should just be you hire the best coach no matter what gender they are. But then again, that should apply both ways. So if you get a women's coach who can coach men, then why not?
Yeah, I don't know how that works with locker room issues.
Well, I mean, that's very true. But I mean, Troy Matson's been here a while.
I feel you would have them get dressed and then meet in another area.
Maybe, but I mean, Troy Matson's been here for a while, so he's been here since I think 2005. So I mean, if he's still here, he's still the women's basketball coach. He must be doing something right.
Oh, and, definitely.
I feel like if he was making any if it was bad or if they thought having a man as the coach wasn't a good fit, they probably would have fired him by now. Yeah, both him and Matt Makarczak incredibly full of energy and enthusiastic, and definitely the kind of coaches you want.
Right.
It's always fun to make fun of the other coaches. I remember one of the other coaches we kept calling his name was Boomer, so we kept calling him like okay Boomer.
Well, we spent the whole time just talking about Northern here.
Yeah, it's fun. We can get to the NFL. We said we were going to talk about the women's basketball.
Move on to that real quick.
Yeah, we can touch on that real quickly.
Best player last year.
Jessica Schultz.
Jessica Schultz, definitely the best player last year.
She's gone
no
now,
longer
right?
here.
Yeah.
Who do you think's going to take over that number one spot?
Ooh, there was a lot of good players that kind of emerged on the women's basketball team last year. They had a lot of good freshmen.
McKaylee Kuhn.
Yeah, McKaylee Kuhn was the name I was about to say.
I'm gonna. Emily Mueller was pretty good.
Mm-hmm. I knew her. She was
injuries with them too were a big thing coming into the end of the season. I remember Troy talking about that in the player. Or
they dealt with Lexi Smith was hurt for most of the year, who probably could have been their best player if she had played.
And she was
she was only a sophomore.
She's not on the roster.
Oh, maybe I don't know.
Because she wasn't a senior.
No, she was a sophomore last year when she was hurt.
Hubner was pretty good.
Yeah, I
Amber.
think she's a senior this year.
Yep, she's a senior this year. She's the only nope. Lutz, Hubner. That's it. Only 2 seniors.
Yeah, so got a good young team for sure.
Yeah, I'd say number one spot's going to be between Mueller and Kuhn. It's definitely going to be between those two. Maybe Hubner as well, but I think it's definitely going to be between those two. They're definitely going to be number one.
Yeah.
I like the way that they both play. They actually just found each other out there, which is amazing. Maybe Perez will step up a bit.
Yeah, they still have both of the Spanish players.
Yeah.
We have Andrea Perez and Elena Alex. Looking at the roster, it looks like they have an Australian player that it shows.
Where?
Taya Stevenson. Says from Tasmania, Australia.
Oh.
So that'll be fun to see.
She doesn't have a picture.
No, it doesn't have a picture.
Her major is pre-veterinary.
From Tasmania, Australia. That's the island to the south of Australia. So that's like.
So she's really southern.
Yeah, that's a really remote part of Australia.
She has that southern accent.
Yeah.
That's gonna be cool to see this women's team, though. I think
yeah, the women's basketball team was very, very fun the last 2 years. They made it to the national tournament our first year.
Yeah, and then they lost the second game, or was it the first game?
I can't remember exactly, but I know they made it pretty far. But I mean, it's Troy Mattson. Troy Matson's a very good.
He's a very good coach.
He's a very good women's basketball coach.
That's why he's still here.
That's why he's still here after all these years.
And I feel the most coach ever stayed in college sports is definitely basketball.
Oh, I mean, you look at the longest tenured coach in college basketball, Jim Boeheim, has been the head coach at Syracuse since 1976. Can you imagine that?
Yeah, that's
1976. That was when like disco was getting big, and he's still the coach there in 2020.
Yeah,
like that's insane for me to think of. Like that's close to 50 years. That's 44 years, and you've just been coaching this team.
Was it 76?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like you saw in college football that too. Joe Paterno was the head coach at Penn State from 1966 to 2011, so 45 years. I mean, there's been a lot of coaches that have been around for a while. But whenever I see
44 years
Jim Boeheim, how long he's been coaching, it's amazing.
But that just shows that basketball is definitely a spot where you stay for a long time.
Yeah, I'd say
where you're locked in for a while, unless you're really tanking.
Unless you want to leave or you're fired.
Right.
I mean, it's interesting to see. I mean, college basketball does have a lot more long term. You look at Tom Izzo, Northern Michigan University alum. Tom Izzo, he's been the head coach at Michigan State for quite some time now. I'll take a look at the exact dates, but Tom Izzo's been the head coach at Michigan State since 1995, so that's 25 years.
Right.
And obviously he was an assistant coach for Northern Michigan, so it's kind of
Well,
funny
talk
to
about
think
coaches. Look over at another Northern legend, Steve Mariucci.
Yeah, he's obviously him and Tom Izzo were like best friends, and they were roommates here. And then they both went on to become successful coaches. So that's the number one Northern success story. Two UP natives who
Maybe
are like
number
best
2 will
friends.
now be Grant.
Well, yeah, but I don't know if. Hopefully Grant stays here for a while. I'm hoping.
Yeah. Let's hope so. All right, moving on to week number 10
Yeah,
of the
let's
NFL
get
here.
to the NFL.
Exciting stuff happening. Had an exciting game last night. What are your
Yeah.
thoughts from last night?
Well, I mean, the Titans. I mean, they've kind of shown that maybe they aren't as good as we thought they were. I mean, they've lost quite a few games now. I do have to give a shout out though, as usual, to Corey Davis, the Western Michigan alum who played last night, the night after his brother died of cancer. So that was a huge, obviously condolences to him and his family, and that was just a emotional time for him, I'm sure. But it was good to kind of pay respects to his brother by still going out there and playing and doing what he
There was a
wanted
player,
to do.
was it 2 years ago or last year? I forgot who was on it, but his son just died, and he got a game-winning touchdown.
Yeah, Marquise Goodwin, I think
Yes.
is who you're talking about. Yeah, he had a
Yes.
son. He had like an infant son who died, and then he scored a touchdown, did a tribute to that. So, yeah,
Because it was that same day or whatever, his son just died.
yeah, that was pretty insane.
I don't know how they have that will to just go out there and play.
I mean, it might give you more motivation because you want to do your best for them. I feel like, but yeah, pretty much. It was sad for Corey Davis. His brother actually was a big-time college football player at Central Michigan, Titus Davis, who's their all-time leading receiver. Funny, obviously, Corey Davis is Western Michigan's all-time leading receiver and
Right.
NCAA's all-time leading receiver. But yeah, it's kind of fun. Him and his brother both kind of became the legends of their respective schools. But it's kind of sad that his brother, who played in the NFL briefly, I think he was mostly just on practice squads, but sad to see Titus Davis pass away. But he was a great player for Central Michigan. And his brother Corey, obviously a great player for Western Michigan and currently for the Titans. But yeah, back in the game, yeah, the Titans are just, I wouldn't say they're in free fall yet, but they were 5-0 and now they're 6-3. So they've gone 1-3 in their last 1-3 in their last 4 games. So do you think they should hit the alarm yet? Do you think they should go into panic mode? I mean, they're still 6-3.
they should have went into it when they went 6-2.
Mm-hmm.
You got to hit the panic mode, and being in an undefeated team now going, 6-3.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I would definitely hit the panic mode and see where this team is definitely headed, because you just lose 34-17 to the Colts.
Colts are also a good team.
They are a good team.
Phillip
They
Rivers
are.
looks really good. I mean, for as old as he is and for not having
But
a huge amount of success on the
their
past, he looks
defense
really
should
good.
not. Their defense should not let up 34 points, and their offense should go through that defense of the Colts and score more than 17
Yeah.
points.
Still, I mean, Colts are looking good. I mean, the Colts are on a bit of a hot
I'm not a
streak
coach.
right now.
I'm definitely no one to influence the game, but I'm seeing an alarm go off in my head when I see a team that was undefeated now go 6-3 and only get 17 points to a team that just scored 34 against their defense.
Also, the Patriots just barely edged out the Jets last week in Monday Night Football, so the Jets are still winless.
Yeah, that was an interesting game as well.
The Jets are 0-9, so they're more than halfway there.
I didn't expect the Patriots to almost lose that game. That was that was different.
Yeah,
But I know you called it. You're like, it's gonna be a close game.
No, I was like, yeah, the Patriots. I think the Patriots are gonna win, but I don't think it's gonna be. And the Jets had the lead for a good portion. They had a 20-10 lead at halftime.
Yeah, and
But
no,
the Patriots were able to.
and I don't think anyone, no one ever saw that. I don't think.
Yeah. Still, the Patriots, they won on a last-second field goal by Nick Folk. And yeah, the Jets, the Jets' woes continue. I think you said you think they're gonna go 0-16.
Seeing how they played last week against the Patriots, I wouldn't be surprised now if they go at least 1-15.
Yeah.
At least win 2, but I definitely think I still think they're going to go undefeated.
Or unwin.
Unwinless, I mean.
Winless, yeah.
Yeah, to go winless. But I wouldn't be surprised if they sneak at least 1 or 2 wins in there.
But obviously now Sam Darnold not starting for them anymore. Joe Flacco is currently their starter. And Joe Flacco's a Super Bowl winning quarterback. Isn't that hard to believe? That was two quarterbacks that have started in the Super Bowl before faced off, and Cam Newton and Joe Flacco. But now they're both playing for not good teams. But
right.
Cam led the Patriots to the victory. I still think Cam Newton is a good player if he.
I think he's a good player. He just doesn't have a team around him right now.
I mean, no, not really. The Patriots team is still built for Tom Brady, I'd say, and I think they kind of need to, if they are going to make Cam their kind of quarterback of the future. Cam is he's on the wrong side of 30, but
which is amazing, with Tom Brady being the best quarterback. I think they get the best players.
I mean, well, Tom Brady made a lot of the players around him good. That's one thing I'll say, and especially look how good he's been doing in Tampa.
Yeah, they're now 6-3, playing Carolina 3-6.
That Tampa did get blown out by the Saints last week, but still, the Saints are a good team, so I'm not horribly shocked about that. But yeah, I think Tom Brady the fact that he's still playing good, I think that kind of gives more to the fact that Tom Brady is just a good player, and I think Tom Brady kind of knows how to use the guys around him. Like he can make a guy like Julian Edelman look like a receiver that's probably a lot better than he is. And Julian Edelman's a good player, but Julian hasn't put up the kind of production that he did under Brady that he has so far under Cam Newton. So
looking at some of these games, I'm looking at the first game here on my end here. Eagles and Giants.
The tank division.
I kind of had a feeling you were going to say that, but
yeah, well, that's what people are calling it. Eagles 3-4-1, first place in the division, but they should win. They should win that game. I mean, the Eagles are bad, but
you know what? I'm gonna go Giants on this one.
You're just gonna throw the division into complete chaos.
I'm gonna throw it in complete chaos. I'm gonna turn it around. I think Giants are gonna be the number 1 team at the end of this season.
Okay, I don't think. Well,
they have. If the NFC East, they're gonna be number 1 team. I'm calling right now. This is where the Eagles are gonna fall. The Giants are gonna come out of nowhere. They're gonna make great plays. I think if they beat the Eagles tonight, they'd be the number 1 team in the NFC East.
Yeah, that would put them in a good position for sure. But I don't think that's going to happen. I think the Giants have too much issues, and the Eagles obviously have a lot of issues, but the Eagles still, the Eagles have made the playoffs the last 3 seasons. Like the Eagles aren't. It's not like they've been a bad team for a while. It's just they're just not in a good division right now, and they won a playoff game just 2 years ago, or the 2018-19 season. They won a playoff game. That was the double doink game with Cody Parkey, but still.
Right.
They won a playoff game not too long ago, and they made the playoffs last year. So, yeah, I just think the Eagles, this is their division, and with all the way the teams are playing, they can't screw away this division. I think the Eagles can kind of bounce back. I think they finish around 500 and obviously win the division. I'd say they finish 7-8-1 and make the division with a losing record. That's my prediction.
Yeah. If the Eagles win Sunday, they're still going to remain number 1 in the NFC East, but I think if the Giants somehow pull off a win, the Eagles are just going to absolutely fall. They're going to just...
Oh, yeah, that'd be a momentum
fall on
changer.
their faces, and the Giants will be number 1. I can see it happening. I want it to happen. It's going to be fun because this division already is terrible.
Mm-hmm.
I want to see it happen.
It would be interesting. But
Come on, Owen, you're for that too. Come on.
It would be interesting, that's what I'll say, but I don't think it's going to happen. Oh, I'd love to see it happen, but I don't think it's going to happen. I want to see a
2-7 team absolutely beat a 3-4-1 team. Come back, be the number 1 team.
Well, they wouldn't be. The Eagles would still be in first place even if they win, because the Eagles would be 3-5-1, and the Giants would be 3-7.
But I think if the Eagles lose this game, this is where the turning point is. The Giants are better. I would agree that it'd
be a momentum shifter, but I don't think it's going to happen.
Because this NFC East is already terrible as it is.
Yeah, it is. Well, yeah, we all know that. Look at the Cowboys are. Let me get their exact record up, but the Cowboys did play well against the Steelers, but the Cowboys are 2-7. They're the same record as the Giants, and the Cowboys are without their top 2 quarterbacks. So I don't blame the Cowboys. But the Eagles have their starting quarterback. They have Carson Wentz healthy for the first time in a while. So the Eagles really have no excuses. They should have the guy who was an MVP candidate a few years ago. He should lead them to a division during this. And if he can't, then that's the serious problem. But yeah, my pick for that game is the Eagles. That's what I think wins.
I can't pick either team, but I just want to see my theory happen.
Yeah.
The Giants win.
Fun to
Eagles
root for
absolutely
chaos.
fall on their faces throughout the whole rest of the season. Giants somehow pull off to be the number one team in the NFC East. I want to see it happen. I'm going Giants.
Yeah, all right. So one game I have on is Texans-Browns. This is the first game on my list.
2-6 team and 5-3 in Cleveland.
Well, Cleveland's obviously the favorite here.
Cleveland is the favorite, yes, but I could see Houston coming back, getting their third win.
I could see it. This is a good upset pick because the Texans are 100% better than their record. They just have horrible luck this year. The Texans have, and they've had like such bad control over their team. I know they just fired another front office member recently. They fired their head coach already. The Texans just front off like they have a good team. They have good players, but they need to get that front office and that coaching staff all like
fixed,
solidified if they want to be able to win games. And now they have an interim head coach, so they might not be able to do that while they have an interim guy at the helm and a new GM, some new front office people. I gotta say, like, I do think the Texans win, actually, though. I'm picking the Texans in this game. I'm going with the upset.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Houston as well. And as you said, they're definitely better than their record.
Yeah.
It's just having bad luck. I think this is where their bad luck stops, and now they get good luck. And I think they'll go 3-6 on Sunday, and then the rest is history after that. So
I don't think they win. I don't think they get, like, really good and become a Super Bowl team.
Well, I'm not saying Super Bowl team, but at least make the playoffs.
I don't think they're going to make the playoffs either because you got the Colts and the Titans in that division. They're already 6-3. I don't see that happening. I don't think they make the playoffs.
I say this is where their bad luck stops. Is where they're starting to get a little bit of luck. The team goes together a little bit, and I think this is where we're going to see them play better than their record. I think their record's going to show at the end of the season. They're going to make the playoffs. Maybe go in the second round.
How they make the playoffs from this though?
It'd be a miracle.
They need a miracle to make the playoffs here, but I don't think they make the playoffs.
And we've seen miracles happen.
We have seen miracles happen, but not in this case. I still think they win, though. I still think they go 3-6. Then next we got Washington football team against the Lions. Just going to say the Lions win this because they have to. And if they don't win it, then they fire their coaching staff and give up on the season. They did lose to Washington last year when they were still the Redskins, but this is at Ford Field. You can't lose this game, so I think they win. You just can't.
No, you can't lose the game, but somehow they're going to do it. I'm going to go with the Washington football team.
All right, moving on. We got the
You're not going to make a statement about that?
No, well, I mean, anything can happen. It's whatever you think happens, that's your opinion. But Buccaneers, Panthers.
Well, I know I'm going against the Lions here, but I just... we haven't seen anything good from the Lions in a while.
Well, they've won. They're not they're better than a lot of teams, but they're also not as good as a lot of teams. They're a mediocre team, just like I think they have been. They beat a good team in the Cardinals.
They beat the Cardinals, but they need to fire Matt Patricia first.
Maybe I do think they should fire Matt Patricia, but I don't know. I don't like firing coaches mid-season because then you're pretty much punting away the rest of the season. I'd say stick with him at the end of the season, then find a new coach. Because firing a coach mid-season really doesn't get you anything. It really just makes a kind of point. But I'd say if a coach is doing bad, what's the point in firing him and having to get a new coach for the last 6 games of the season? Then when you're going to get a new coach anyway at the end of the season, I don't get the point. But it's clear.
I see your point in that, but it's also to, I guess we're already this far. We're already in week 10, so what the heck's another 6 weeks of just waiting?
Yeah, well.
But I think it would help if they just fire Matt now and, get another coach, or at least have the assistant coach step up to be a coach. I mean, who knows? Maybe the assistant's better than Matt.
The guess is it would be special teams coordinator Braden Combs, who's been pretty good this year. He's led a really good special teams unit. He's not that old. He's only in his early 30s. That'd be my pick for the interim head coach if they end up firing Matt Patricia mid-season, and then I wouldn't be surprised if they keep him as the actual coach because his special teams unit has been really good.
I say keep him on special teams. If he's good on that, then just leave him.
He can still do that.
Right, but
the special teams coordinator is actually a very popular pick usually for interim head coach because
fair.
It's not like they have to relinquish control of the offense and the defense. It's just they can handle the special teams and head coach. So so the game after that's Buccaneers Panthers.
All right. I'll change my answer. I'll go Lions.
All right, well it doesn't matter. It's whatever you think. But Buccaneers Panthers 6-3 Buccaneers against 3-6 Panthers. Panthers started out good, but now they've kind of faltered. Buccaneers, it's a Tom Brady led team, but they did get blown out by the Saints last week. I think the Buccaneers win.
But as you said a little while ago, the Saints are a good team.
Yeah, they did win 38-3 last week.
I don't know if that's just bad playing on Tampa Bay or if that's just...
I think it's just good playing by the Saints.
Right. A little bit of both, I think. But I think we've seen what all Tom Brady can do, and I don't think Tom Brady's having that much success. I'm going to go with Carolina on this game. They are home. I think this is where Tom Brady's going to have
the Falcons, though, so, yeah.
Yes, they lost to the Falcons, but I'm going to go Carolina.
And then
I can see them. I can see their defense is going right for Tom Brady. He's going to get a lot of sacks, I think.
Yeah.
I think they're just going to rattle his cage, and it's going to be a really low-scoring game. I'm going to say it's going to be 15-10.
I don't see how a game... Well, then again, they did only score 3 points last week, but we'll see. I think the Buccaneers bounce back, though. Next, I got Jaguars Packers.
Jaguars.
Oh, God. No. So these teams have... close to inverse records. The Jaguars are 1-7. The Packers are 6-2. Yeah.
That Lambeau, no fans.
But the Jaguars have won the first game of the season and they've lost 7 in a row. So they're pulling what the NMU team did last year so far.
Way to pull that up, Owen. Great analogy.
Yeah. But yeah, this is an easy Packers pick. It'd be funny if the Jaguars win, but I just don't see how that can happen. Like, this is going to be one of the most favorable, this is going to be one of the most lopsided, picks for sure this week of Packers guaranteed to win. But if they lose, it's going to be the number one, guys are going to make a lot of money who bet for the Jaguars to win. I would say if you're a bettor, why not just put money down on the Jaguars? Because if they win, you're going to make a lot of money.
It is at Lambeau. Packers, yes, they're doing good.
But my pick's the Packers.
Your pick's the Packers?
It's the safest pick of the week.
It's the safest?
It's easily the safest pick. I mean, it's a team that's rolling against a team that isn't.
I'll agree with you. It's the safest pick, but yeah, I'll just pick the Packers, I guess.
I got Bills, Cardinals, 2 shockingly good teams this year.
Bills, Cardinals,
5-3 against 7-2. The Bills are the favorites for the NFC East. The Cardinals,
obviously,
yeah. Cardinals are in contention for a wild card, maybe a division if they can overtake the Seahawks.
This is gonna be.
I think the Bills win. I think the Bills are a better team than the Cardinals because they have the better defense, and I think the defense can slow them down.
I can agree with that. This is the tough one. Arizona is at home. I think fans are allowed.
Yep, fans are allowed in Arizona.
So they have that little push there. I think we're going to see the best out of Arizona this weekend. And I think they're definitely going to be prepared for Buffalo. I'm going to go Arizona.
All right, so I'm picking Buffalo.
Okay.
And then we got Chargers, Dolphins.
Oh, this is a tough one. Dolphins.
These teams seem very similar. I don't know why. They have the similar colors. They both have rookie quarterbacks
that are not doing that bad.
Yeah, they both have pretty rookie quarterbacks that are doing pretty good right now. Tua Tagovailoa 2-0 as a starter now in his career. Justin Herbert's been pretty good. Ooh, this is a tough one. Battle of the rookie quarterbacks.
Are you just going to pick the team with the better record?
Well, I think the Dolphins are the better team overall. So yeah, I'm gonna go with the Dolphins.
Yeah,
They are 5-3. Yeah, that's surprisingly good.
I think fans are low in Miami.
I'd assume so. Most Florida places they are.
So yeah, I'm gonna go with Miami.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Next on my list is Denver and Las Vegas.
Denver, Las Vegas in the new
similar
stadium.
Yeah.
Are you gonna keep up with your not picking the Raiders? Because every time you pick them, they.
Yeah, literally every time I pick them, they lose. I can't afford that. I'm gonna go Denver.
They did win last week.
They did because I didn't pick them. See, if I don't pick them, they win. If I pick them, they lose.
So they won on a kind of a not necessarily a controversial ending, but it was a weird ending because the Chargers had got the winning touchdown with no time left to beat them, but then they reviewed it and they revealed that the pass was incomplete. So
See,
the Raiders
if I
ended up
picked them,
winning.
the pass would be complete.
Well, the pass was obviously incomplete though, and they reviewed it. It was obvious that the pass was incomplete. So that's why
but
I
it's
don't
my
think it was
luck. If I pick them,
controversial.
it would not be controversial. It would be.
But it's the fact that they originally called touchdown. Everyone's like, "Oh my gosh, the Chargers won! They actually came back." But then they reviewed it, and it's like, "Yeah, this pass is."
I still feel if I picked them, it'd still stand.
Yeah,
that's how my luck goes.
Mm-hmm.
Especially with this Raiders team, because of Alec Engel. But
Mm-hmm.
every time I pick them, they lose.
Well, they're
I'm
5-3. I'm
They-
gonna pick the Raiders because it's in Las Vegas, and
let's see if you have luck with them.
yeah, maybe. But I don't have the connection like you do.
Thanks.
So my pick is Las Vegas.
Is Las Vegas. San Francisco and New Orleans. It's in New Orleans.
Ooh, in
They
the
are
Bayou.
6-2. San Francisco is 4-5. I'm gonna go New Orleans on this
New
one.
Orleans easy. They're rolling right now.
Oh,
New Orleans
definitely.
Has all the momentum. I am going to pick that. The Saints easily to beat the 49ers.
Think Drew Brees wins the Super Bowl?
He could. Drew Brees is still shooting for his first ever MVP. He's never won MVP in his career.
And he's in a tough spot right now with that.
He has won a Super Bowl though. He won a Super Bowl in 2009 or 2010, around that time. It's one of those seasons against Peyton Manning and the Colts. But
Peyton Manning was good.
He'd definitely become. He's already a Hall of Famer, but he definitely cement his case as one of the greatest all times if he can get a second ring. So he's definitely motivated.
So you're picking New Orleans?
I'm picking New Orleans.
I'm gonna pick the Saints as well.
All right, Bengals Steelers, a good NFC East matchup. The Steelers are hanging on to a thread to that undefeated record. They barely squeaked by the bad Cowboys team last week. Ooh, tough matchup, but I think the Steelers maintain it. Actually, I think the Steelers go to 9-0.
I think if they win tonight or Sunday, if they win Sunday, they're gonna go 16-0.
I just still don't think they're going to go 16-0, but I think they win this game.
Yeah, I think if they win this game, they go 16-0. If they lose, they'll at least lose 2 games.
Mm-hmm. And then, so my pick is the Steelers.
I'm going Pittsburgh.
Then the final 4 o'clock game, Seahawks-Rams, a big NFC West matchup.
This is I'm excited for this game.
Yeah, it's going to be 2 big offenses. Jared Goff against Russell Wilson. The Seahawks have kind of slowed down. I thought they were really good, but now they're 6-2.
I think they're showing their signs a little bit for this season. I think this is where they start to falter, and I'm going to pick the Rams.
No, I'm going to pick the Seahawks because I think they still have it. I think they're too good to start losing games. So my pick is Seattle because I think they're the best team in the NFC still.
I think they bounce back from a little bit of a slump they have.
I think they are going to. I think they're too good to kind of stay in that slump forever. Sunday.
I'm still picking Rams.
Sunday night we have Ravens-Patriots.
Ooh.
And the Ravens are the better team here, but maybe the Patriots are able to
They are at home.
pull something out and win. And I'm actually going to say that happens. I'm going to say Cam Newton is able to put together another good game and leads the Patriots to an upset victory. That's what I'm going to think happens. So I just feel like a guy like Lamar Jackson, he's a good player, but I think everyone kind of knows what Lamar Jackson can do at this point, and Bill Belichick I think he's going to come up with a strategy to stop him. That's my rationale.
Yeah, you're not
for picking
wrong.
the Patriots.
But I think I think Baltimore is. They are 6-2. I don't see them going 6-3. I'm gonna pick Baltimore.
And then Monday night, a good old black
This
and blue.
is gonna be an
good old
exciting
black
game.
and blue division matchup. Vikings Bears. And I'm actually going to pick the Vikings to win this game. And that's because the Vikings, Dalvin Cook has just been unstoppable the last few weeks. Like, you look at it, they beat the Packers. I mean, Dalvin Cook has just been running wild, and no team can stop him right now. And I don't see how the Bears are going to be any different. They have a good defense, but I just don't see how this train with Dalvin Cook is going to stop. And the Bears are not as good as their record. So the Bears got lucky. Now they're kind of starting to come back down to earth. And I think they fall to 500 on the season with this loss.
Yeah.
So that's my pick.
This is, wow. I didn't know it was this hard to pick. Tyler, do you want the Bears to keep having success, or do you want the Bears to stop?
No, I don't think they're as good.
This is a point where you either want them to stop and falter, or do you want them to keep winning, is where I'm at. And I don't want the Bears to keep winning. I don't want the Vikings to win, but I'm going to go with Kirk Cousins and the Vikings.
Yep. All right, so you both pick Vikings to win this game. All right, that's everything. What a great week ahead. That game was going to be exciting on Monday night.
What game are you most excited for?
Oof. I've got to say Seahawks-Rams is going to be a good one. That's going to all those games.
I think it's one
that
I'm surprised it's not a Monday night game.
Yeah, it's a 4:00 game. Let me see what it's on.
Imagine if it was a Monday night game.
It's on Fox, so it's gonna be the Joe Buck Troy Aikman game of the week.
Well, I'm gonna just mute my TV.
Yeah.
I don't know your thoughts on them, but I'm just gonna mute the TV.
I would assume. I'm not sure which of the games, because all those games.
You know what?
Are on
I'm gonna
Fox.
put the game on, but I might put it on the radio.
I'm not sure which of those games is going to be the Joe Buck one, but one of those games is going to. One of those 4:00 games is going to be.
Well,
the Joe
if it happens to be the. Oh, I think it's definitely going to be the Seahawk game.
I would assume it's going to be that one, because that's the biggest one. They usually make those the game of the week, but.
Unless he does the Pittsburgh game.
Could be, but it's against the Bengals, so it's not a huge opponent. I don't know.
I don't know. If it is the Seahawks game, I'm just going to mute the TV and put on the radio. I don't know if you do that or not, if you put the radio on.
No, usually I usually watch on my computer, so I just...
See, I like having the radio on the TV, because then hearing the radio, you can picture it in your head and then see if it's right. Because radio's faster than TV, obviously.
Yep.
I think it's by like a couple seconds or whatever. I'm not exactly sure the whole deal between that with the delay is, but
Joe Buck is announcing the Seattle LA game.
Mutant TV. Well, yeah, gonna put. I'm listening to the LA radio. See how those guys are.
I don't know how they are.
I don't know either.
I've never heard them.
I'll let you know.
Yeah, but yeah.
But I think it'll be really interesting to see if Pittsburgh goes 9-0.
It will be interesting to see. I think they can do it. But I know one interesting thing is in the Washington versus Detroit game, former NFL cornerback Aqib Talib is making his broadcasting debut as the color commentator. And he'll be doing it in the Lions football, the Detroit-Washington game. So
The Detroit football game?
Yeah, the Detroit versus football team game. We're going to be saying this for the next year, too.
Oh, can they just pick a name, please? It's not that hard.
We know. Like, yeah. But it's going to be interesting because he's a player who played recently, and I never thought of him as a player that would become a broadcaster, so it'll be interesting to see how he does.
No one thought, who's the... Greg Jennings.
Greg Jennings I could easily see becoming a broadcaster because he's such a great guy.
Have you listened to his commentary, though?
Yeah, I mean, I haven't really paid attention but he hasn't,
It's all right.
He hasn't really stuck out. I think he's pretty average. One guy who they really need to get in the booth more, but he does other stuff, so I'm not surprised why he doesn't, is Pat McAfee, who's color commentated a few NFL games. He might have only did one, but he was the color commentator for a Lions-Packers game a few years ago. But I don't know if you know who Pat McAfee is, but he was a former NFL punter for the Colts, and then he retired to be a comedian full-time, and he does a radio show. I think he does a podcast as well. But he's a really entertaining guy. Like, he's the funniest guy. He does someone that makes some of the best jokes. And when he was on air, like when he did the color commentator for that one Lions-Packers game, he was like hilarious. And I think they need to get more guys like him broadcasting. But if they want to be serious, yeah, he's not the guy you pick. But
Was that last week we were talking about? There's one player who was a commentator and no one understood what he was saying because he was talking about these weird plays or whatever.
Oh yeah, John Gruden. I was talking about. Yeah, he's the coach of the Raiders right now, and he was the coach of the Raiders previously. But yeah, everyone hated him as a commentator because he would just use this lingo that nobody would understand because obviously he's a head coach, so he knows a lot of things that the average viewer doesn't, and he just said all the weird stuff. And yeah, he's an easy guy to parody for sure.
Do you watch what? It's a YouTube channel. It's called Bad Lip Reading.
Oh, I loved watching Bad Lip Reading back in the day. I haven't watched them for a while though.
They just get they just brought up the 2021 and it's hilarious. Yeah. It's funny.
Of course, those are always funny.
They did the debate one. That one was pretty good. I like when they do those.
Those are always funny as well. All those videos.
It's just funny of how like what they say isn't actually what they're saying, but it's very accurate.
Yeah.
Like it's not like I don't know if you watched like in high school or middle school, Djibouti Dubs.
Yeah.
When they did the Billy Mays one.
No, I haven't seen that. But
well, they really
it's the same kind of thing.
Except theirs is terrible. Mm-hmm. They don't actually go off what they're saying. They just make up funny sayings and make it fit.
Yeah.
Where actually Bad Lip Reading goes off of the actual words that someone is saying, but it's not what they're saying.
Yeah, because they have like the people who like are good lip reading and they can like kind of see stuff in the other
where
ways.
Djibouti Dubs does not do that.
Yeah.
They just add in funny content. Mm-hmm. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's not.
Yeah. I definitely agree. Bad lip reading can be very entertaining at times.
Oh yeah. Let's see, what was one? Oh, when they did.
They've done movies, I know.
Did they do movies?
Well, Bad Lip Reading has done movies. They've done a lot of Star Wars movies, I know.
But when they did the Trump inauguration, that was hilarious.
Yeah, I mean all the political ones are funny. I don't like to get heavily into political.
Oh no, but it's hilarious.
But, yeah, like in that, it's comedy. It's yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. No, we're just waiting the results of that, but not getting political.
Mm-hmm.
I just want it to be done. Hey, I've got no political ads, so I'm happy about that. I'm just glad that the political ads are done.
I'm happy about that as well.
And I'm tired of just like every 2 seconds on YouTube. Oh, here's a commercial about biting your Trump. It's like, please stop. I'm done.
Okay. So here's a bit of a breaking news type thing. I just saw shared that the University of Alaska Anchorage isn't going to be playing this year.
What?
Yeah. It was just shared on Facebook.
No. You are joking. Is that shared on WCHA?
On Wildcat Hockey Nation.
Wildcat Hockey Nation. No.
Well, looks like it is. I'll verify it.
Yeah? Yeah?
It's not surprising, I gotta say. They're definitely the weakest team.
They are, and I know talking to Bruce Check up in Fairbanks, the numbers up there are getting crazy.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't be surprised to see Fairbanks fall in the same suit.
Yeah, that it's from their account, so yep. Looks like we won't be seeing them this year.
No? We'll be seeing Braden Cameron.
That sucks. I'm looking forward to seeing him.
Well, that's twice now getting shut up in an interview. That's twice now.
It's fine.
Did you also see another WCHA news? Alabama Huntsville gets $17 million boost for their hockey program.
Yeah. I saw people mentioning how like it seems like everybody in that town loves their hockey except for the university themselves.
Yeah, Nathan mentioned it, said that everyone in Huntsville loves their hockey except for their school.
Yeah, that's so weird. Like, I think you should listen to your community. I think that's a key aspect for being a.
But also look at the community. Their hockey is hurting their program.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know how their other sports are doing. I certainly do not know. So I can't speak for that aspect. But look at their hockey program. It's hurting.
Yeah.
They're not very good.
No, they weren't. I mean, they've been good in recent years, but last year especially they weren't.
If they were good, we wouldn't be laughing about Canadian players going to play down in Alabama.
That was one of our best jokes.
Oh, that was hilarious.
Still, they made the playoffs 2 years ago, So we saw them in the playoffs. But, I mean, yeah, they're just...
First round out.
Yeah, still, yeah, you're right.
Make the playoffs means nothing. What do you do in the playoffs? I mean, look at the Wings. They made 25 years of playoffs.
Yeah, that's true.
How many of them went past the first, second round?
I'd say... How many do you think? Like 10? 10, 12, 13? I mean, they've won 4 cups. I mean,
Yes, they've won 4 cups.
they
But
won
you
4
look,
cups in
but you
that
look
time.
at okay. Then you look at after Babcock left. What 2014?
Well,
Bledsoe came in
No
2015.
team has won in the past, like, the Red Wings have won the Stanley Cup more in, like, the last, 20, 30 years than any other team.
Yes. But also,
Like,
you look
you think, like, the Penguins won 3, the Blackhawks won 3, but the Red Wings have won 4 in, like, the last, since, like, the 90s. No other team, I don't think, has won
since
more.
salary cap era,
Yeah,
which is amazing.
yeah.
But you look at sure they made the playoffs 25 years. Absolutely fantastic. First round and out.
Yep.
Maybe they went to the second round and and maybe they missed or they didn't miss the playoff, but maybe they missed the second round after the in 09 and 10.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't have excellence after that. And sure,
That's
25
true.
years making playoffs, sure, great. But what do you do with that when you're first round and out or you're second round and out? There's nothing you can do. So you look at Alabama. Sure, they made the playoffs, but they went first round and out, swept.
Yep.
And I believe they played. Is it Mankato or was it Bemidji?
For what?
The first year we were here, they made the playoffs.
I'm not sure.
I'll look that up because that's interesting now. Well, we won't be looking at WCHA.com anymore next year.
Yeah, that'll be weird.
Yeah, looking at CCHA. It's going to be fun.
That will be very fun. Won't be a lot different because it's the same teams, but will be fun to kind of get some new.
Yeah, they played Minnesota State. They lost 3-1 and lost 4-1 on Saturday. They played at Bowling Green on March 2nd and 1st. They won Friday night 4-2, and then they go on Saturday, lose 7-1. They played at Ferris before. They won 2-0 and lose 2-5. Very, very inconsistent games here. No, they go on a on a 4-weekend loss here. Sure, they tie against Northern. That's when they had the 3-on-3 overtime. Or they scored the 3-on-3 overtime, but it was a tie because it was 2-2. But for WCHA, since they had to have the 3-on-3 overtime, it goes to a shootout.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just weird.
Well, now there's only
Look
only
at
9 teams that are going to be competing next year.
yeah, and we get St. Thomas.
Yeah, and then St. Thomas joining. St. Thomas will even it out.
We
at
get
8.
1 team out of 3 teams leaving.
Yeah.
Where's the other 2?
I mean, it doesn't need to be. You don't need to have a full. I don't think. You don't need to have a full.
They played Miami at the start of at the 2018-19 season. They played Miami.
Miami, Ohio. I assume.
Yeah, Miami, Ohio. You know what the record was?
What?
0-2 against them. And then they play Colorado College, and they lose 0-1. And then they go to Denver. They started off with having no wins for the first 2 months.
It's true.
Their first win was December 8th, 4-2 against Bemidji. And then they win 1-0 against Tech, and then they lose 2-1 in overtime against Tech, and then they play Vermont and lose.
I'll forget about Vermont.
Yeah.
They're D1. They got a good D1 program.
Oh, also, Arizona State got approved to do their hockey rink.
Oh wow! So that'll be fun.
Maybe another CCHA contender?
Possibility. I'd assume if they join, then they'd want to even out another team. Then because with St. Thomas joining, then that'll put Arizona State at
Now
9.
you look at travel.
Yeah.
Yes, they take out the Alaska trip, so theirs saves a lot of money.
Yep.
So does that break out the Arizona trip?
I mean, it's not.
Do you
as far
bus
as
all the way down
Alaska.
there, or do you fly?
A
No.
bus it'd be a very long. very long bus. Arizona definitely. Oh, I don't know. I'm pretty sure Arizona would be closer than Alaska.
31 hours and about.
Is that to Arizona?
That's just a car ride. Yeah, that's
so that'd be on a bus.
That's to Arizona State. Yeah, that's to Arizona. Yeah, it's 31 hours.
Tempe, Arizona.
No, you walk that. It'll take you 599 hours.
Oh God.
Biking it will take you. Oh, it's only 160.
Well, good to know. That's
and
all.
that's going along the Mississippi River for a bit.
That's important information to know if you ever want to walk to Arizona. From here.
It's 599 hours, which is.
What's that divided by 24?
Good question. It'll be 24 days.
Oh wow.
It'll take you almost 25 days to get there.
Surprisingly, it's actually less than I would have thought. I mean, that's walking across the United States. I think that would take like years, but
well,
apparently not.
How long is it to Alaska? Let's see. How long is it to? Let's say Anchorage, because that's all the way at the top. Can you walk that?
Yeah, it's possible. You'd have to pass through like you have to pass through like checkpoints, but
yeah, you have to walk there.
It's walkable.
Oh yeah, car ride's 58 hours. Okay, ready for walking? No route found.
No route found. Don't even
biking.
Try.
Oh, biking's only 277 hours, which is let's see, so probably about 2 days.
That's
It's only 11 days. You're fine.
Still walking. There's no route.
That's nonstop though.
Yeah, that's true. That's nonstop, so it'd take you longer.
But yeah, walking, there's no route. I assume you can't walk across the border.
Well, yeah, that's true. You probably wouldn't be able to walk across the border.
Flights from Marquette to Anchorage average about $561. That's kind of insane.
Mm-hmm.
It take you 11 hours on a plane.
Yeah.
I just drive that for 58 hours, which is 3 days. 2.42 days. So almost about 3 days driving to get to Alaska.
That's nonstop.
And then, again, that's nonstop.
Yeah, it's interesting how far. Like
driving's only 31 hours. So
Alabama Huntsville took a bus to get here, and that's a long time.
Let's see. I'm up to. It's only 14 hours though. It's literally just straight down.
Yeah.
So if you look at Marquette, it's just straight down.
It's pretty much not that far.
Yeah, you can take a bus there. It'll take you 1 day to get there. You can leave at 12:50 a.m. and arrive at 11:54 p.m. the next day. Not bad.
Why not?
Why not, right? Let's see. Walking, 302 hours. You can bike that in. You can just bike that in only 82 hours. Why not make it a 6-day trip?
That's like 3 days, or no, that's like 4 days.
4 days is 48.
No, 2 days is 48.
Oh yeah, you're.
And then 48, that'd be 70 days. Yeah, it'd be about
3 hours.
3 to 4 days.
Yeah.
Non-stop, of course, if you can somehow do that. Yeah, still, that's the one thing about like the Alaska teams not being there. Definitely is the travel.
It'll take you 12 days to walk it.
Mm-hmm.
Probably just a whole day to get to Green Bay. If you walk it. See, Marquette to Green Bay, walking it. Oh, never mind. It'll take you almost. Take you almost 3 days to get there.
Well, it's not horrible.
Huh?
It's not horrible.
I want you to walk that.
No, I don't want to walk that. Why would I do that?
Right? It's crazy though. That's
in the cold too. Like.
Oh, you're fine.
That's pretty much how long the sled dog race. It's from here to Grand Marais. So, that's like a good amount of miles. Which the sled dog race is going to be canceled for next year, which is kind of sad because that's a fun event.
To Grand Marais. It's only an hour from here.
Yeah.
It'd take you 28 hours just to get to Grand Marais. 7 hours on the bike trail. versus just a 1 hour car ride.
Yeah. Because that's where the sled dog race goes. It goes from here to Grand Marais and then back.
Well,
Never been there, but unfortunately, of course, that won't happen next year. But maybe I'll definitely find a time to go there. Hopefully, it doesn't fall on the same day as a hockey game like it did last year.
What game did it fall on last year?
The first Bemidji game.
Yeah,
the 5-0 loss.
Yes, that's right. Because all of Washington was closed.
Yeah.
That's right. And then our freshman year, it didn't fall on anything.
No, it didn't. There was no game that day.
Were we at Tech?
No.
No,
that was like at the end, and this is in February.
No, that was in January.
Oh, is it in January?
January 28th it was. What team did we play January 28th?
It's not
I know
hard
we
to
played
find
somebody. Oh, no, it's not that hard. I can pull
Yeah.
it in like 2 seconds. But what team did we play? We must have not been home.
Well, yeah, I know there wasn't a game that day.
Ah. We played Minnesota State.
Minnesota State at Minnesota State?
No, we played at Minnesota. We played here against Minnesota State.
No, not on that day because I was there, so it wasn't that game then.
It must have been that last. It must have been that next weekend.
Well, the next weekend was
Bowling Green.
Yeah, so I think that it was on the weekend against Alabama Huntsville on February 8th and 9th. It had to have been that week because I know there wasn't a game at the same time.
Or was it Bemidji?
No, well, it could have.
No,
been.
it was Huntsville. It was Huntsville because I watched it. I remember watching the 3-on-3 overtime because it was Friday
Yep.
night. Yes, now I remember. Yes,
Yep.
now I remember that. Because I remember watching Bemidji the next weekend, both games, and then we had Lake Superior State here, and that was the Mittens chant.
That was the Mittens chant, and then after that was Tech, with the sweep of Tech. The last time that we swept Tech.
Because that was when Loggins got a hat trick on the empty net.
Yep, that was at Tech, and then back at home was Ate's shutout on senior night.
Yeah, I remember the shutout. That was insane. And then we went to we had Alaska here, and then it was a 2 overtime. We won 5-4, and then we came back on Saturday night. We had to come back from being down. What was it, 4-2?
Yeah, something like that.
No, 3-2. No, 3-1. We had to come back against, and then we won 4-3. And then we get swept against Bowling Green.
Yeah.
But that second overtime of Bowling Green was like third overtime at Tech.
Yeah, it was so similar.
But at least they were hitting posts. We couldn't find Twine that net or that game.
Yeah, I think.
I don't know how much you remember. Of
I know we hit a post once in the Tech overtime game.
You know the worst part about that Tech series?
What?
They won on a face-off.
That's true.
Right off a face-off.
Mm-hmm.
And it was right on. It was on the left side too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, pretty much.
So I think it was the face-off. I forget who won the face-off, but it went right to the guy to the left, and he just put a top shelf, and that was a goal. And I'm like, wait a minute, what? That was too fast for me to comprehend. Still got nightmares that day just seeing that. And then they planted the flag, because you know how that goes.
Yeah, well, why not?
But I think the best game I ever went to was the game against Tech at Tech, the 28th, when we beat them up there on their own ice.
Yep, that was definitely a good
we
game.
came back because we were down.
Yeah, it was down like 1-0, I think, and
We were down 1-0, and then
made it 2-1, and then they scored to make it 2-2, and then Craigwood's goal, I believe, made it 3-2.
Yeah, coast to coast.
Yep.
And that was when Kent came out of his net.
Yeah, that was one of the best plays as a goalie.
Ugh. Let's see. There was, goaltender of the week was Matt Jerusik. Rookie of the week was Logan Petola. Forward of the week was Tommy Peranto. Yeah, Tech. Defenseman of the week was Bowling Green, Tim Theochartis. Yeah, it was literally all tech except for Defenseman of the week. It's crazy. But we won't get that next year, so we'll see how... I was talking to my boss over at the bookstore, and I was telling him, I wonder if the CCHA will bring back like a WCHA TV, because those games are only $12 a game versus paying a whole subscription for $200.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think I covered everything I wanted to talk about.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. This is the last thing we covered last week, but the NASCAR Championship happened.
Yes, it
It's
did.
one little thing, and Chase Elliott was the winner, the 24-year-old out of Dawsonville, Georgia.
I don't think anyone expected that.
No, I didn't. I thought it was going to be Kevin Harvick early in the season, but he was eliminated before the championship. And then, yeah, I mean, it is definitely a surprise, but I mean, you got to say he deserved it. He won some big races this year. And it's fun to see a young guy emerging. He's driving for Hendrick Motorsports, and Jimmy Johnson's done. He's officially retired now, so he's the team's flagship driver now, and he's got a lot of weight in his shoulders.
He got 5th, looks like.
Yeah, Jimmy Johnson got 5th in his final race. He
Not
got
bad.
the highest out of all the non-championship drivers, but still, he didn't win in his final 3 seasons, which is kind of sad. Would have been fun for him to go out with one more win, but hey.
Hey, it was close between Elliott and Brad.
Yeah.
I will say that, but Elliott coming on top.
Yeah, I mean, he deserved it. He definitely played well. Now he's 24
Do you
years
feel good about
old.
the win, or do you wish someone else had won?
No, I think he deserved it. I mean, I would have loved to see Denny Hamlin win his first, but it's good. Like I said, good to see a young guy. Good to get some new talent winning the championship. Only 24 years old. He's he's got many, many more years left. He could win many, many more championships. And obviously his dad won the championship back in 1988. So he's now the second driver in his family to win the championship. So good legacy for him. And now he's won quite a few races this year. He won 5, I think. So hey, he'll be a force next year, and next year in NASCAR, I'll definitely follow it a lot more intensely. I did watch every single race this year, but next year I'm going to be starting to watch it as a fan, and not just last year. And I was like, oh, Daytona 500's on. I'll watch it for fun. And then I ended up being like hooked on it.
Because I think everyone was hooked onto it because it was just one of those things where there was there was absolutely nothing.
But I got into it even before the pandemic started. Like, even if there hadn't been a pandemic, I probably would have became a fan, because I just, like, literally, I was just bored in my room that day, and I'm like, oh, the Daytona 500's on. Might as well check this out. And I ended up watching it, like, and obviously it was delayed. There was a rain delay, so most of the race ended up happening the next day. But still, I was watching it that day, and by the end of the day, I was like, oh my gosh, why haven't I watched this in years? And I got into it, and I watched every single race after that.
I think that's what went for me, because when I was younger, I always watched NASCAR, and then I think I just got bored of it.
It's easy to get bored of it. I mean, looks like we got to finish up shortly, but
yeah,
it's easy to get bored of it. But I think it was the fact that I hadn't watched it in so long that kind of made it new again.
Right. Yeah. No, and with having all the NASCAR games, everything and playing, it's like, hey, this is cool, but you get bored of it. And because I probably haven't played NASCAR, well, I played NASCAR Heat 4, but that's different. But I think it was just one of those things where now I'm interested in it again, and now I can understand it.
Yeah, I can understand it a lot better, but it felt new again, and maybe I'll get bored of it again in a few more years. I wouldn't be surprised if I do.
Right.
But I know I've gotten a lot better at it now, and better at watching it and understanding kind of what's going on, all the teams.
Right.
So,
all right, well, get ready for the next DJ here, and thank you guys for listening in this long extended hour. Let you know if you guys are going to be a show next week again with my classes being moved online. I don't know what's going to happen.
I'm guessing we'll probably be back in here next week.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Yeah. Yeah, so for DJ Doug and DJ Nemo, thank you for listening, and we'll see you guys here next week. Hope you enjoyed the Christmas hour. We'll probably have that again next week as well for the last show of 2020.
Yep.
All right, thanks guys for listening, and we'll see you later. This was a presentation of Friday Sports Hour on the WPX Sports Radio. Catch me again next Friday, every Friday at 3 p.m. right here on 91.5 WPX FM HD1 Marquette. I'm DJ Doug. Have a wonderful weekend.